And had it not been for Detective Mark Herman interfering with her, taking her right after lunch, right before lunch, picking her up and coaching her, telling her that, hey, it's better to say you don't know. Because he knew she was lying. And you know what? Right after came back from lunch, yes, that was her answer. I don't know, I don't remember. That's all she kept saying. Otherwise, I'm telling you, she would have surpassed 500 lies by the time the trial was over. This detective, Herman, but you know what? There is irony because I believe he's, if not worse, just like Mark Furman, the detective for O.J. Simpson's. Yes, O.J. Simpson's case, he planted evidence. In this case, he destroyed evidence. In fact, that was also proven in court, that Detective Herman even admitted that he destroyed his notes. Why? Because you know what? It really never happened. They didn't believe her. They just needed to push this case. To the point that even the DA, during closing argument, I wish the accuser was there. I really wish, because he made her feel stupid. He said in his own words, he said, she was not the smartest cookie in the jar. I wish he was there to listen to that. You know, forget about her. I wish a lot of you were here during the closing argument. I know that several Nepalese were there. We were insulted because the DA, Steve Mount, pointed to us Nepalese and said, you know what, we are all liars. You Nepalese people, you live in housing complex run by government. We have no rights in the country whatsoever. There's no rights for women, nothing. You know, we are just, basically we are barbarians. That's what he was trying to say. I wish all of us Nepalese could live there. In fact, I'll tell you something. Nepal is the only country that I know of that celebrates the existence of women to the maximum. We have 52 festivals in a year, out of which at least 40 of them are celebrated, especially for women. Yes. To the point also I want to bring about women. If a girl or a woman is ever raped in any villages all over Nepal, trust me on this, the entire community gets together and ousts that person who caused this crime. If he's lucky, he would be dead. He's ousted, if he's lucky, before the cops get him. So why did the DA make us feel like we were just all controlled and we were all ganging up on the accuser? We were not ganging up on the accuser. There are over 200 people, Nepalese people living in this community. They know about each other's business. That's Nepali community, strength of us. They knew that she was lying. They didn't believe her. They lived for 5 years and they saw what happened. Love, compassion, yes, discipline from Peggy, Ajay, Raja and Kaya with the girl. There was a lot of discipline. She was rebellious. All 200 Nepalese would have sided her and would have ousted my brother. If not, they would have killed him before the police tried to get him. This never happened. One more thing I want to say. This is really important. If it was my best friend that it happened to her, I would be there in support of her. Her best friend, Cassandra Martinez, did not even show up, did not even come by her side. Why not? Because you know what? She would have revealed the truth. And the DA did not even ask her. In fact, she taunted us because we wanted to subpoena her. She taunted us for not being able to find her. Wow, this is amazing. This is justice. And lastly, Peggy, this woman. What woman would stand by a man that has caused such heinous crime? And mother, 2 children, no way. I don't see that ever happening. If you know Peggy, you know her. She is a strong, feisty, and yet wonderful woman. There's no way this would happen. And finally, when my nephew, Kishan, comes here, and my brother talks to me on the phone all the time, and every single time he misses his children day and night, that he does not get to visit them because he doesn't get to see them in person, touch, visit. He weeps and cries, and my heart cries for that. And when my nephew Kishan comes and says often, very often, because they live with me right now, come often and they say, I miss my daddy. The bad people took him away. And I go, you know, son, yes, the bad people took him away. But the truth will always be victorious. Like we come from a land of Nepal, close by Gandhi's. The truth will always prevail. And in our case, I tell him, yes, my son, Ajay is coming home. Ajay is coming home. We must believe that. Thank you.
All right, we got a few more speakers. I just do want to remind you too before we go, we started a petition on Monday to change.org that is sending letters to lots of people in Yolo County and the state of California and the United States to bring Ajay home. And we started Monday night, and we're already at almost 279, I think was the last count I heard about an hour ago, signatures. So if you would like to sign it before you leave, that would be great. All right, here we go.
My name is Terry. I'm Ajay's sister-in-law, Peggy's sister. I don't think I'm quite as eloquent a speaker or as fiery a speaker as the two previous. I actually wrote out my things, so bear with me. We were kind of asked to just say a little bit as to why it is that we know that Ajay's innocent. And I think you've heard me before cite some examples. The one thing I want to point out, which I don't know if a lot of people really consider, is that, you know, I'm not related to Ajay. And I'm not related to the accuser. My relationship with both of them was of equal value. I was neither especially close to Ajay, nor was I especially close to the accuser. I actually knew them both, and I actually liked them both. It's true that I knew Ajay longer, but it's also true that as a mother, my natural instincts would be to protect a young girl if I thought that she was in danger. In other words, I really have no reason to support or believe one over the other. But what I do have is a deep knowledge of the case and of all the evidence presented for both the prosecution and the defense. And what I'd like to say to you today is that now, after 2 years since Ajay's conviction, my belief in his innocence is not nearly as strong as it was. It is in fact infinitely stronger. For 2 years, I and a team of other people have painstakingly gone through the entire 10,000 pages of court transcript, including all the stuff the jury did not see, the motions, the evidence that was not used in trial for whatever reason, all the submitted evidence, hundreds upon hundreds of emails between the accuser and Ajay over the course of 4.5 years, and anything else related to this case. What became more apparent with my personal investigation into the evidence was simply astounding. The prosecution's case was not supported by any evidence, and in fact was proven to be false upon closer examination of the evidence. And the way that that evidence was presented to the jury was blatantly inappropriate and grossly misconstrued. There's a couple of things I want to share with you that I don't think has been brought up on any of the blogs or in any of our discussions that struck me when I was going through this transcript and all of this information. One, at no time did the prosecution or the investigating officer conduct an evaluation of the accuser to test her veracity or to validate her claims of being raped 750 times. Why? Her story changed repeatedly and alarmingly so upon the power of suggestion. When she emphatically denied an act in one setting, such as the initial police interview, she would change her story, or rather grow her story, upon suggestion of the other party. Why? Wouldn't that suggest to a trained investigator or the prosecuting attorney that she may not be telling the truth? Shouldn't that send up a red flag and warrant further investigation, like maybe talking to those people who knew her, and especially the in-laws who have nothing to gain by supporting a guilty man? Lastly, one thing that really struck home with me, after reading the hundreds and hundreds of private communications and private emails between Ajay and the accuser, not one inappropriate mention of anything was apparent in any of them in the course of 4.5 years. sorry. I mean, you have to think about that. If someone is having some kind of relations with someone in the period of 4.5 years and hundreds and hundreds of private emails, there was not one reference to anything sexual or untoward between the two of them in what they personally believed were private conversations. Ajay is innocent. Thank you.